Emily Carter noticed the message the moment her phone lit up on the kitchen counter. Rain tapped softly against the window of her small Portland home. And the evening felt ordinary until that single vibration broke the silence. She had just finished washing dishes after dinner, her routine unchanged for years, calm and predictable. The message was from her son Liam. That alone made her pause. Liam rarely texted late unless something mattered. She dried her hands quickly and opened it, expecting a simple question or a reminder about visiting soon. Instead, she read words that made her chest tighten. "Mom, I want to tell you something tonight. Please don't be surprised." Emily stared at the screen longer than necessary. The sentence felt heavy, filled with meaning she could not yet understand. She typed back immediately, asking if everything was okay, but the reply never came. The three moving dots appeared for a second and disappeared again, leaving her alone with questions. She walked slowly around the kitchen, trying to calm herself. Liam had always been thoughtful, careful with his words. Since his father passed away years earlier, the bond between mother and son had grown stronger. They relied on each other through grief, through change, through long, quiet evenings that followed loss. Emily had focused entirely on raising him, working extra hours at the bookstore and keeping life steady. She never complained, never allowed herself to think about loneliness. But tonight, something felt different. She checked her phone again. Still nothing. Outside, thunder rolled gently, not frightening, but deep enough to make the house feel smaller. Emily poured herself tea and sat by the window, watching drops of rain race each other down the glass. Her mind wandered through possibilities. Maybe Liam had received a job offer far away. Maybe he planned to move to another city. The thought hurt more than she expected. She had always known this day would come, yet she was not ready for the quiet that would follow. As she waited, her thoughts drifted toward someone she had tried not to think about too often, Daniel Harper. He had started coming into the bookstore 6 months earlier. At first, he was just another customer searching for poetry, but he stayed longer than most. He asked questions about books, about writers, about why certain stories mattered. Emily noticed how respectfully he listened, how he never rushed conversations. Slowly, their talks became part of her day. She found herself looking forward to his visits without admitting it aloud. One afternoon, he had suggested coffee after her shift. She smiled politely but declined, telling herself she was too busy, too old for new beginnings. Still, she remembered the disappointment hidden behind his kind smile. Her phone rang suddenly, pulling her back to the present. Liam's name flashed on the screen. She answered instantly. His voice sounded nervous but excited. He asked if he could come over right away. Emily agreed without hesitation. Worry mixed with curiosity as she cleaned the living room quickly, straightened cushions, and turned on a lamp to make the space warmer. She did not know why she felt anxious, only that something important was about to happen. 20 minutes later, headlights appeared through the rain. Liam knocked once before opening the door, shaking water from his jacket. He looked different somehow, brighter, as if carrying good news he struggled to contain. Emily searched his face for signs of trouble but found none. Instead, she saw anticipation. He hugged her tightly longer than usual, and she felt relief wash over her. "You're not in trouble, are you?" she asked, half joking. He laughed softly and assured her everything was fine. They sat down, but Liam could not stay still. He paced the room, running a hand through his hair, clearly preparing himself to speak. Emily watched quietly, sensing that he needed time. Finally, he stopped and looked directly at her. "Mom," he began gently, "you've done everything for me. After Dad died, you never thought about yourself again." Emily tried to interrupt, saying she was happy, but Liam shook his head kindly. He explained that he noticed how she always put others first, how her life had become routine instead of joy. His words surprised her because she had never shared those feelings openly. Hearing them spoken aloud made her realize how visible her loneliness might have been. Before she could respond, there was a knock at the door. Emily frowned, confused. She was not expecting anyone. Liam smiled in a way that made her even more curious. He walked toward the door and opened it confidently, as if he had been waiting for that exact moment. Standing there was Daniel Harper, holding a small bouquet of white lilies, rain droplets still clinging to his coat. Emily froze completely. For a second, she thought she was imagining him. Daniel looked equally nervous but warm, offering a gentle greeting. Her eyes moved quickly between Daniel and Liam, trying to understand what connected them. "You know each other?" she asked, disbelief clear in her voice. Liam nodded, explaining that they had met months earlier at a volunteer event. During conversation, Daniel mentioned visiting a bookstore often. And when Liam realized it was the same place where his mother worked, curiosity turned into friendship. Liam admitted that he had learned how much Daniel admired her kindness and intelligence. Instead of feeling embarrassed, Emily felt stunned by the coincidence. Daniel stepped inside carefully, speaking with respect. He explained that he wanted to ask her out properly, but did not want to create awkwardness with her family. Liam had encouraged honesty, believing she deserved happiness after years of sacrifice. Emily listened quietly, emotions rising faster than she expected. She had spent so long believing romance belonged to her past that she never imagined standing in a moment like this again. The room felt warm despite the rain outside. Liam watched proudly as his mother processed everything. Emily realized her son was not bringing her bad news at all. He was giving her permission to live again. The thought filled her with both gratitude and fear. Starting over meant opening her heart, risking disappointment, and stepping beyond comfort. Daniel handed her the lilies. She accepted them slowly, touched by the gesture's simplicity. No grand speech, no pressure, just sincerity. She noticed how carefully he chose his words, making sure she felt safe rather than overwhelmed. That kindness mattered more than anything else. Liam smiled, clearly relieved that the surprise had not gone wrong. He joked lightly to ease the tension, and laughter filled the room, soft and natural. Emily realized how long it had been since laughter came so easily inside her home. 4 years, silence had been normal. Tonight felt alive. Just as Emily began to relax, Daniel mentioned there was another surprise planned for the evening. The statement caught her attention immediately. She looked at Liam, who simply grinned, refusing to explain. Curiosity replaced uncertainty. She wondered what else they could possibly have prepared. Emily felt her heart beating faster, not from fear, but from anticipation she had not experienced in years. She understood that this night marked a turning point. The careful walls she built around her emotions were beginning to crack, allowing light to enter again. As thunder faded and rain softened outside, Emily realized something important. Life had quietly moved forward while she stood still, protecting memories instead of creating new ones. Now, standing between her son's hopeful smile and Daniel's gentle presence, she felt the possibility of change. She took a deep breath, holding the lilies close, ready to hear whatever came next. Unaware that this unexpected evening would open a chapter she never believed she would have the courage to begin. The rain slowed outside Emily Carter's house, leaving the night calm and quiet, as if the world itself wanted to listen to what would happen next. Emily sat on the couch holding the bouquet of white lilies, still trying to understand how an ordinary evening had turned into something unexpected and deeply emotional. Across from her sat DanielHarper.com, but clearly nervous. While Liam leaned against the kitchen counter with a satisfied smile, watching his plan unfold exactly as he had hoped. The room felt warmer than usual, filled with a gentle energy Emily had not felt in years. She looked from her son to Daniel, shaking her head slightly, still amazed. "You two planned this together?" she asked. Liam laughed softly and admitted they had talked about it for weeks. Daniel added that he wanted everything to feel respectful and honest because Emily deserved clarity, not confusion. His words were simple, yet they carried sincerity that made Emily's heart soften. For a long time after her husband's passing, Emily had convinced herself that her story was complete. She focused on work, responsibilities, and being strong for Liam. Love felt like something belonging to another lifetime. But now, sitting in her living room with two people who clearly cared about her happiness, she felt something shifting inside her. She realized she had been surviving, not truly living. Liam noticed her silence and walked closer. kneeling beside her chair. He explained that watching her dedicate every year to others made him proud but also worried. He wanted her to laugh again, to have plans, to feel excitement instead of routine. Emily listened carefully, touched by how deeply her son understood her without needing explanations. Daniel spoke gently, choosing his words carefully. He told Emily that from the first conversation at the bookstore, he admired her calm strength. She had a way of making people feel heard, something rare in a busy world. He admitted that he looked forward to visiting the bookstore not just for books, but for the conversations they shared. Emily felt her cheeks warm, surprised by how openly he spoke. There was no pressure in his tone, only honesty. She realized he was not trying to change her life suddenly. He was simply offering companionship. Liam clapped his hands once, breaking the emotional silence. "Okay," he said playfully. "This is the part where the second surprise happens." Emily raised an eyebrow, curiosity returning. Daniel reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out a white envelope. He handed it to her carefully. She opened it slowly, unsure what to expect. Inside were 2 tickets printed on thick paper. She read the words twice before understanding. A storytelling festival in Vancouver, an event she had once mentioned casually while discussing travel dreams at the bookstore. She remembered saying she always wanted to go but never found the right time. Seeing those tickets made her eyes fill with emotion. Someone had listened to a small wish she barely remembered sharing. Daniel explained that the festival celebrated writers, readers, and people who loved stories about life and hope. He thought it would be something meaningful they could experience together. Emily laughed softly through tears, amazed by the thoughtfulness behind the gesture. For years, she had been the one remembering details about others. Now someone remembered hers. The feeling was both new and comforting. Liam watched quietly, satisfied. He stood up and grabbed his keys, announcing that he would leave them alone to talk. Emily protested lightly, but he hugged her warmly and whispered that happiness sometimes needed space to grow. Before leaving, he thanked Daniel with a nod that carried trust and approval. When the door closed behind him, the house became peaceful again, but this time the silence felt alive rather than empty. Emily and Daniel sat facing each other, both slightly unsure how to continue now that the surprise was revealed. Daniel admitted he had been nervous all day, worried she might feel overwhelmed. Emily smiled gently and told him the evening had surprised her in the best way. She confessed that fear had stopped her from accepting his earlier coffee invitation. Starting again felt risky after loss, and she had built a life around certainty. Daniel listened without interrupting, showing patience that reassured her. He told her that moving forward did not mean forgetting the past. Memories could stay while new experiences formed beside them. His perspective eased a worry Emily had carried silently. She realized she had been protecting herself from pain by avoiding joy, not understanding that both were part of living fully. The conversation flowed naturally, moving from serious reflections to lighter stories about childhood memories, favorite books, and small dreams they once postponed. Outside, clouds slowly cleared, revealing stars between drifting shadows. Emily noticed how different the night felt compared to earlier. Instead of anxiety, she felt calm curiosity about what tomorrow might bring. She asked Daniel why he chose lilies. He smiled and said they symbolized renewal and quiet strength, qualities he associated with her. The thoughtful answer made her laugh softly, shaking her head at how much attention he paid to meaning. Time passed quickly, and Emily realized she had not checked the clock once. That alone surprised her. Usually, evenings moved slowly, marked by routine tasks and television noise. Tonight felt timeless. She picked up the tickets again, imagining the journey, the city lights, the unfamiliar excitement of traveling with someone new. The idea felt both daring and comforting. Daniel reassured her there was no expectation attached to the invitation. If she wanted to go as friends, that was enough. If she needed more time, he understood. Emily appreciated the freedom in his words. She realized that genuine care allowed space rather than demanding answers. After a moment of quiet thought, she told him she wanted to try to step outside fear and see where life might lead. A warm smile spread across Daniel's face, relief visible in his eyes. They talked about travel plans, favorite places in Vancouver, and the possibility of exploring bookstores together. Each conversation built a gentle connection, not rushed, not dramatic, but steady and real. Emily felt herself relaxing into the moment, allowing hope to replace hesitation. Later, as Daniel prepared to leave, he paused at the doorway. He thanked her for trusting the evening and promised that whatever happened next would move at her pace. Emily walked him to the door, feeling a quiet happiness she had not experienced in years. When he stepped outside, the air smelled fresh after rain, and the streetlights reflected on wet pavement like small stars. She closed the door slowly and leaned against it, holding the lilies close. The house felt different now, not lonely, but full of possibility. She walked to the window and watched Daniel's car disappear down the street. For the first time since losing her husband, she allowed herself to imagine a future that included laughter, companionship, and new memories. Her phone buzzed with a message from Liam asking, "How did it go?" Emily smiled and replied, "You were right. Thank you." She placed the phone down and looked around her living room, realizing that nothing physical had changed, yet everything felt new. The fear of beginning again had faded, replaced by quiet courage. She set the ticket